Have you ever caught yourself replaying a small, almost meaningless moment in your mind? Something you said, something someone did, or a tiny mistake that no one else even noticed? You keep thinking about it, again and again. But at the same time, there are big, serious things in your life. Decisions you should be making, goals you've been avoiding, truths you should be facing, yet somehow you push those aside. Why do we overthink the small things, but ignore the big ones? It doesn't make sense, right? We obsess over whether we said something awkward, but not about the direction of our lives. We replay a short text message 100 times, wondering if it sounded cold, yet we avoid asking ourselves if we're truly happy with where we are. But the truth is, this pattern is part of how the human mind tries to protect itself. Overthinking gives us the illusion of control. When something small happens, a look, a word, a decision, our brains latch onto it because it feels manageable. It's easier to dissect small problems than to face the massive, uncertain ones. Big problems like career choices, relationships, or purpose are overwhelming. They don't have clear answers. They require courage, change, and sometimes pain. So our minds look for safety and find it in the smaller things. We tell ourselves, if I can just figure out this one tiny detail, maybe everything else will feel okay. But it never really does. We focus on what's small because it feels safe. We avoid what's big because it feels threatening. Overthinking small things also becomes a kind of comfort zone. It's familiar. We've done it for years, and even though it drains us, it also distracts us. It's like picking at a tiny scratch while ignoring a deeper wound. The small scratch gets your attention. It's right there, visible, immediate. But the real injury lies deeper, and that's the one that truly needs healing. We replay conversations in our heads because facing silence is harder. We obsess over the small what-ifs because the big what-ifs, the ones about our lives, dreams, and futures, are too terrifying to think about. Sometimes ignoring the big things is just fear wearing a clever disguise. Fear of failure, fear of change, fear of what happens if we finally face the truth. It's easier to wonder if someone is mad at you than to admit you're unhappy in your job. It's easier to analyze why someone didn't text you back than to ask yourself why you keep depending on other people's validation. Big thoughts bring big emotions, and our minds aren't always ready for that. So we escape to the smaller ones, safe, repetitive, and endlessly distracting. Overthinking small things becomes a cycle. Your mind feels the discomfort of uncertainty, and it tries to fix it. So it goes over the same thoughts again and again, searching for closure that never comes. The problem? Small things rarely have clean answers. You'll never know exactly what someone thought, or if your words were misunderstood. So the loop keeps going and going. Meanwhile, the bigger questions, the ones that actually define your life, stay untouched, waiting. Many of us believe overthinking means we're being careful, thoughtful, or self-aware. But sometimes it's not reflection, it's avoidance. When we're unsure about something big, a decision, a dream, a direction, we subconsciously switch to something smaller. It feels like thinking, but it's actually running. Overthinking gives us the illusion that we're doing something, when in reality we're standing still. We become mentally busy, but emotionally stuck. But here's the real heart of it. We don't overthink small things because they matter more. We overthink them because they hurt less. It's easier to stress over a small misunderstanding than to face the emptiness of loneliness. It's easier to pick apart a text message than to confront the fear that we're not truly loved. It's easier to focus on little imperfections than to question the deeper meaning of our lives. In a strange way, small worries act as emotional shields. They keep us busy enough not to feel what's really going on. Think about this. How often do you lie awake at night, thinking about something that doesn't truly matter in the long run? A comment, a look, a post. But what about the things that do matter? Your dreams, your peace, your purpose. They stay in the background, too heavy, too big, too undefined. We push them away, telling ourselves, I'll deal with that later. But later often never comes. So we fill the silence with smaller worries, because silence is where truth lives, and truth can be uncomfortable. So, how do we stop overthinking the small and start facing the big? The answer isn't simple, but it starts with awareness. When you catch yourself overanalyzing something small, pause and ask, What am I really avoiding right now? You'll be surprised how often the real issue is something deeper: a fear, a regret, a longing. Start practicing letting go of things that don't deserve your energy. Remind yourself that not everything needs an answer, not every feeling needs to be solved, and not every thought deserves your time. And slowly, redirect your energy toward what truly matters: your goals, your healing, your peace. When you face the big things, the small ones begin to lose their power. You stop needing to control every detail because you start living with intention. So the next time you find yourself replaying a tiny mistake or worrying about something small, remember this: it's not weakness, it's human. It's your mind trying to protect you from something bigger. But protection isn't the same as peace. Peace comes when you stop running from the big things and start walking toward them, one small step at a time. Because when you finally face the bigger questions about who you are, what you want, and what really matters, the smaller ones begin to fade into silence, and in that silence, you finally begin to live.